Younger me, if I could reach through time, grab you by the shoulders and make you listen, I would. Because what I'm about to tell you will change everything. But I know you wouldn't believe me, not yet. Right now you think you have time. You think life is a straight road, stretching endlessly ahead. You think success, happiness, and meaning are waiting for you, just a little further down the path. But what if I told you that road isn't endless? And what if I told you that someday isn't coming? One day, sooner than you think, you'll wake up and realize you are no longer chasing a future. You're standing in it. And when that day comes, the things you thought would make you happy won't matter as much. The things you feared losing won't feel so important. And the biggest question you will face won't be about what's ahead, but about who you are. Younger me, I know you feel like you're building towards something, like you're laying the foundation of a life that will one day make sense. But let me ask you something. What if you're already standing in your future? And what if it doesn't feel the way you thought it would? You thought once you arrived, everything would click, that the hard work would finally mean something, that the doubts, the emptiness, the questions would finally disappear. But instead you feel restless, like something is missing, but you can't name what it is. Younger me, that feeling isn't a mistake, it's the call. The moment when the life you built and the life you were meant to live collide. Younger me, I've brought voices from across time. Men who have walked through the fire and emerged with wisdom most will never understand. Carl Jung is here. Not to tell you who you are, but to reveal the parts of yourself you've been too afraid to see. Nietzsche is waiting, not with comfort, but with a challenge, as will you stay the same or will you dare to become? Seneca will ask you one question. Where is your time actually going? Rumi will whisper to you, reminding you that the answer you seek has always been inside you. And Emerson will tell you, the greatest tragedy isn't failure, it's never daring to begin. Younger me, they each have something to tell you, but only if you're ready to listen. Younger me, you're standing at a threshold. On one side, the life you've built, safe, predictable, but hollow. On the other, the life that is truly yours, unknown, unwritten, but real. And the only way forward is through. So I have to ask you, are you ready? Younger me, you don't know this yet, but the way you see life, it's an illusion. You think you're climbing towards something now, that one day you'll reach a peak and everything will make sense. But what if I told you that's not how this works? Younger me, what if I told you you're not building towards success? You're building toward awakening. One day, sooner than you think, you will wake up and realize you are already standing in the future you once imagined. And the things you thought would make you happy won't matter as much. The things you feared losing won't feel so important. And the biggest question you'll face won't be about what's ahead. It will be about who you are. Younger me, Carl Jung, once stood where you are now. A man staring at the truth, afraid of what it would mean. He spent his life unraveling a secret that most people never understand. That midlife isn't a crisis, it's an initiation. He would tell you, you are not lost. You are standing at the entrance of something deeper. Jung spent his life studying what most people never realize, that we are not one person, but two. The version of you that the world sees, the one chasing success, validation, certainty, that's only half of you. The other half, the part of you that's been buried under expectations, fear, and routine, that's the part you've been avoiding. And Jung had a name for this moment. He called it individuation, the process of finally becoming whole. One day, younger me, you'll wake up and everything you worked for will be right in front of you. The house, the stability, but instead of feeling whole, you'll feel like a stranger in your own life. It's not that you failed, it's that success didn't give you what you thought it would. You'll start to notice the cracks, the little moments where you catch yourself feeling empty. And for the first time, the life you built will feel more like a script than a choice. That is why people break at midlife. Not because they failed, but because they succeeded at things that didn't matter. Younger me, Jung would tell you, this moment isn't a crisis. It's an invitation. So now I have to ask you, what will you do when the illusion shatters? Will you keep chasing a life you no longer believe in? Or will you finally turn toward yourself? Because whether you want to or not, change is coming. Younger me, I know what you're afraid of us. You think if you let go, you will disappear. That if you burn, there will be nothing left. You tell yourself that as long as you hold on, keep everything under control, you'll be fine. But deep down you feel it, don't you? The shift, the cracking, the slow unraveling of the life you thought was solid. You're afraid of that moment. You think it means everything is falling apart. But what if I told you this is exactly what needs to happen? Younger me, you are not breaking, you are transforming. For years, you spent your life building something. A self, a future, a version of you that was acceptable, successful, safe. But what happens when the fire comes? Not a literal fire. The fire of loss, of failure, of crisis. The fire that burns away every illusion you once clung to. You spent years trying to control everything, but now life is asking you to surrender. The fire will come and you have only two choices, fight it or step into it. Carl Jung spent his life studying this fire, sir. He knew that when the old self begins to crack, when the life you built stops feeling like your own, this is not the end. It is the beginning of something deeper. Jung understood something most people never will. Everything you've buried, everything you've ignored, it didn't disappear. It became your shadow, and now it is calling for you to face it. Younger me, you are not just the person the world sees. You are also the anger you never expressed, the ambitions you never chased, the grief you swallowed, the parts of yourself you were too afraid to claim. And as long as you refuse to see them, they will control you from the dark. They will twist your fears into resentment, your desires into addictions, your hidden wounds into weapons against yourself. This is why people break at midlife. Not because they have failed, but because they have spent years running from themselves. There is a reason so many myths speak of the phoenix, the creature that must burn before it can rise. Because this is what transformation looks like. The fire is not your enemy, it is your initiation. The only thing burning away is everything that is no longer you. And the more you fight it, the more it will consume you. Younger me, this is the moment where most people turn back. They feel the fire and they run. They cling to the old self, the old story, the old life, trying to hold on to something that no longer fits. But what if instead of running, you step forward? What if you let yourself burn, knowing that on the other side, you will not be ashes, but something new? So I have to ask you, are you going to keep fighting this? Keep pretending you don't feel the shift, the cracking, the pull towards something deeper? Or will you surrender to it? This is not destruction, this is transformation. You're not breaking, you're becoming. And younger me, the fire is already here. The only question is, will you let it forge you into who you were always meant to be? Younger me, you think you know who you are. You believe your identity is set, that the life you've built is the one you were always meant to have. You tell yourself, this is just who I am, this is how life turned out. And maybe you've even started to accept it. But let me ask you something. Who told you that? Who decided that your story was already written? Because I need you to understand something, and I need you to hear it now. You are not finished, you never were. Younger me, have you ever wondered why you feel restless? Why no matter how much you accomplish, there's still a quiet voice whispering, is this all there is? You think it's because you haven't reached the next goal yet. But that's not it. It's because you were never meant to stop evolving. And the greatest lie you've ever told yourself is that you are done. Look around. Look at the people who have convinced themselves they are finished. You can see it in their eyes, the ones who stopped questioning, who stopped striving, who settled into a version of themselves that no longer fits but is too familiar to leave behind. They think they are safe, but the truth is they are already disappearing. Friedrich Nietzsche understood something most people never will. He knew that we are not static beings, we are not nouns, we are verb. We are not things, we are processes, unfolding, becoming and the moment we stop becoming, we begin to die. Nietzsche called it the will to power, the force inside us that drives us forward that refuses to accept stagnation, that pushes us to break past our limits. And he had a name for the person who embraces this force. He called them the Übermensch, the one who refuses to live by the script society has handed them, the one who chooses to create themselves instead. Not who they were told to be, not who they were yesterday, but something greater, something they alone have the power to shape. Younger me, you have spent years trying to find yourself, but what if the truth is you were never meant to be found? What if the real task was to build yourself? So I need to ask you something, and I need you to answer honestly. Are you actually living or just repeating? Are you choosing your life, or are you just playing a role you didn't write? Younger me, if you feel stuck, it is not because you have no option. It is because you are afraid to take them. And I know that fear. I know it because I felt it too. The fear that if you let go of who you are now, you'll be lost. But listen to me. You are not losing yourself. You are outgrowing yourself. And the only question is, will you fight to stay the same, or will you dare to become something more? Reinvention is not a privilege, it is your responsibility, and because the person you were yesterday is already gone. The only question is, who will you choose to be today? Younger me, you think you have time. You act like life is a long road stretching endlessly ahead of you. You tell yourself, I'll do it later. I'll take that risk when I'm ready. I'll say what needs to be said someday, but let me tell you something that will shake you to your core. There is no someday, there is only now. And if you keep living like time is something you have, instead of something you spend, one day you will wake up and realize it's already gone. Younger me, let's do something right now. Look at your last 5 years. Where did they go? You say you don't have enough time, but let's be honest. Where is your time actually going? You think time was taken from you. It wasn't. You spent it and you didn't even realize it. You spent it on distractions, on obligations that didn't matter, on scrolling, on watching, on waiting. You spent it postponing the things that actually matter because you assumed you'd always have more. But here's the truth, younger me. Life is not short. You are just wasting it. Younger me, there was a man who understood this better than anyone. His name was Seneca. 2,000 years ago, he watched as people wasted their days believing they had forever. And he warned them, you act like mortals in what you fear and like immortals in what you desire. You act like you're running out of time when it comes to your fears. Afraid to take the leap, afraid to fail, afraid to start. But when it comes to your desires, when it comes to the things that truly matter, you act like you have forever. You tell yourself there will be more time for love, more time for adventure, more time to chase what sets your soul on fire. But Seneca had one final warning for you, younger me. It is not that we have too little time, it is that we waste much of it. So here's the question, younger me. What if I told you that 5 years from now you'll be asking yourself the exact same questions you're asking today? What if I told you that unless you change something now, you will wake up one day and wonder where your life went? Younger me, the issue is not that you are out of time. The issue is that you are out of excuses. This is your wake-up call. Not next year, not someday, not when you feel ready, now. Because the truth is, your life is not running out. You are just running out of chances to live it. Younger me, I see you. I see you searching, looking for something you can't quite name. You tell yourself that if you just achieve more, if you just figure it all out, then the confusion will disappear. That someday you'll wake up and finally feel complete. But let me ask you something. How long have you been searching? How many books? How many podcasts? How many late nights have you spent hoping for a moment of clarity? And yet the answers still feel just out of reach, don't they? Like something you can almost touch but never quite grasp. Younger me, what if I told you the answer you seek has been whispering to you all along? The problem isn't that you can't hear it, it's that you won't listen. Let me tell you a story, younger me. There was once a man who spent his life searching for a rare and precious necklace. He traveled across lands, through deserts and mountains, convinced that if he could just find it, he would finally be happy. And then one day, exhausted and broken, he looked down and saw it hanging around his neck. He had been searching for something he already had, and so have you. You tell yourself you don't have the answers, that you need more time, more certainty, more proof. But the truth is, you already know what you need to do. There was a poet, a mystic, a man who understood this long before either of us. His name was Rumi. He watched as people spent their lives searching, running from one thing to the next, hoping to feel whole. And so he wrote these words: "You are being called home." The answers are not in the next achievement, the next book, the next milestone. They are in the quiet moments when you stop running. They are in the questions that haunt you at night. They are in the parts of yourself you've been too afraid to face. You don't need permission to listen to yourself. You just need the courage to stop drowning out the voice that has been whispering to you all along. Younger me, let me ask you one final question. What if the reason you feel lost is because you keep running from the truth? What if the answer was never missing? What if it was waiting for the moment you would finally be still enough to hear it? Younger me, you don't need to keep searching. You just need to start listening. Younger me, I see you. I see the weight you carry, the silent pressure you don't talk about. You've convinced yourself that if you just keep playing the part, if you just keep checking the boxes, everything will feel right one day. That one day you'll wake up and finally feel at home in your own life. But tell me this, have you ever stopped to ask yourself whose life you're actually living? Are you shaping a life that is truly yours, or one that simply keeps other people comfortable? Younger me, let's be honest. How many times have you bitten your tongue to avoid making others uncomfortable? How many times have you said yes when every part of you was screaming no? How many choices have you made? Not because they were right for you, but because they were expected of you. And tell me this, when was the last time you did something purely because it set your soul on fire? Younger me, I need you to hear me on this. You do not owe the world a version of yourself that makes everyone else comfortable. You owe yourself the courage to live the life that is actually yours. Younger me, there was a man who understood this before either of us. His name was Ralph Waldo Emerson. He watched as people molded themselves into what society wanted, as they abandoned their own voice for the safety of belonging. And so he wrote these words, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Younger me, the battle isn't out there, it's inside you. It's the battle between who you are and who the world expects you to be. And I won't lie to you, it takes courage to choose yourself. Because the moment you stop living for approval, the moment you stop trying to fit in, something happens. Some people will pull away, some won't understand, some will call you selfish, reckless, ungrateful. But tell me this, younger me, would you rather disappoint a few people or spend the rest of your life disappointing yourself? Younger me, one day you will look back on your life, and the question won't be, did I make everyone proud? The question will be, did I live my life? Or did I spend it trying to be what others wanted? Younger me, your greatest regret will not be failing. It will be never daring to begin. Someday isn't coming. Only you are. So the question is, will you have the courage to finally meet yourself? Younger me, when we started this conversation, you thought you had time, and you thought meaning was something you would find someday. You thought success would bring you peace. But now you know the truth. The future you were waiting for is already here, and the only question left is, what will you do with it? Carl Jung showed you that midlife is not a crisis, it is an awakening. He taught you that you are not breaking, you are transforming. Friedrich Nietzsche challenged you to stop seeing yourself as stuck and start seeing yourself as something still becoming. Seneca revealed the truth about time, not as something you have, but as something you spend. Rumi reminded you that the answer you seek has always been inside you. And Emerson? Emerson gave you permission to finally walk your own path. You have everything you need. The only thing left is to take the first step. Younger me, you thought 40 was the end, but now you see the truth. This was never an ending, it was your initiation. And will you step through the door? Someday isn't coming. only you are. So what will you do?